Hello Transformers fans, taking a look at another one of these Transformers reaction figures, which I like to call ReAction Masters. And it's not actually going to be one of these I'm looking at today. It's going to be the guy on the other side, taking a look at ReAction Master Blaster, who is still available at Big Bad Toy Store. And it's been said a lot, these are a little overpriced for what you get, but I want them for the sole purpose of filling up my Action Masters Optimis Prime truck. So looking forward to opening this guy up eventually, but going to enjoy him on card for just a bit longer. But these are a very much more affordable alternative to getting vintage Action Masters from 1990, especially ones in nice condition to fill up that truck. There's Mirage there, Grimlock, Alpha Trion. A lot of figures that are on card with a bubble like this are actually built so that they'll stand up. These won't. I've got just a little tiny piece of sticky tack under there to prop them up, so that's just another reason for me to open them up. They don't really harken back to any nostalgia. This is a brand new design. I love the artwork on it. I'll definitely be keeping the card. Just because I'm opening it doesn't mean I'm throwing the card in the garbage. But it's not like a vintage G.I. Joe figure for me, so that's why it's an easy open for me. And all of these are still available, like I said, on Big Bad Toy Store. This one is as well, Blaster, and you can find the link to it in the description of the video here. Give you a look at the card art on Blaster before we open them up. It's Blaster. It's a sort of cartoon looking Blaster with a little bit more shading to him, more toon accurate than G1 box accurate, I would say. And I like the return of Blaster's original gun, and it looks like he actually has two weapons included here. That's funny. The original Blaster, which I'll be pulling out the G1 Blaster to compare, came with this style of gun with a giant scope on it in the stock. This is a different looking gun. For some reason they've included an extra gun. Would have been cool to include maybe a little tape, even if that doesn't open. They can't get too fancy with the Action Masters figures. The whole point is they're supposed to be vintage Star Wars style, 5 points of articulation, and not really many bells and whistles to them. But instead of an extra gun, I think it would have just been cool to have a yellow tape for Steeljaw, or maybe a brown one for Ramhorn. And on the back, just a picture of some of the other available Transformers Reaction Masters. Took a look at Skyfire a while back, and whereas Devastator is the supersized one, he's only a tiny bit bigger than the other ones. And like I said, these are a little overpriced for what they are, but it's an easy buy for me because I know these will sell out, and probably sooner than later. And when they do, this is the type of thing that is going to really increase in value on eBay. So I'd rather get them for a little overpriced right now than a lot overpriced. I mean, I wouldn't even get them down the road on eBay. I wouldn't pay $50 for one of these on eBay down the road, which is what I predict they might go for, $40 or $50 once all the online retailers sell out on them. And it's time for Blaster to eject, ironically, out of his packaging. And pop the guns out as well, taped into place. And the you want to be a little more careful, I think, with this one. It looks very, even just removing it from the tape, it looks very fragile. A lot of thin parts to this. Cast in gray, unlike the original one that was in black. And here's ReAction Master Blaster. And I don't have the original Action Master Blaster anymore. I used to. I gave them away somewhere along the way. But I'll stick a picture of the Action Masters blaster right here, so you can compare side by side. The Action Masters one just have a less cartoon accurate look, even though they were going for the cartoon accurate look. These guys achieve that much better in my opinion. Looks a lot more like he jumped off the screen of the cartoon. He's got all of the details he should have. At this scale, he's not going to be able to have masterpiece level of detail, but he does have the chest tape ejector compartment. The buttons actually do have like individual little grooves in between, so that's impressive. Buttons don't work, obviously. Not for this guy. And he's even got some lines there, like extra details I wasn't expecting to see, since they're going for a simple cartoon look. The speakers on the legs and near the bottom, two speaker-like things right there. Same hands as all of the other ReAction Masters. Not just a hole like an actual original Action Master. More of a grip like a G.I. Joe grip hand. So you can hold that gun perfectly fine. And oh, that's good. I was wondering if maybe sometimes these stocks get in the way when a transformer tries to hold the gun, but that actually works perfectly fine. And give you a little comparison of the ReAction gun compared to the original G1 gun. It's close. It's missing the hole in the middle. The stock is actually different now that I'm looking at them side by side. But you know, it's close enough. It's got the little extra little thing on the top there. I don't think that yeah, he's maybe there's some way that he can try to shoulder. No, there's not enough articulation here. It's worth a shot, but that's not gonna work. The extra gun is a nice touch, but blaster isn't exactly a transformer I think of when I think two gun justice or two blaster justice. So I'll just remove that one, set it aside for maybe another ReAction Master. I don't know, maybe Jazz would look better with two guns. Articulation is the same as any other ReAction figure, Star Wars figure, head, arms, legs. And as with all the other ones, I'm going to take a look and see how he is with this main thing, which is what I got him for. But before I do, a little comparison with his G1 self. Blaster G1 version is one of the most, or this is a reissue, but he's one of the most ridiculously oversized Transformers for a guy who's not a giant. He's just supposed to be a boombox, but giant boombox that transforms into, and this is another Transformer that I think I could transform with my eyes closed, which I might actually give that a shot when I get around to reviewing G1 Blaster. Cool thing about G1 Blaster, not to turn this into a G1 Blaster review, is that you've got the option of having him be really tall or ridiculously tall. These knee joints, it was a long time before I realized you can actually collapse those when he's in robot mode to make him a bit shorter, but there's a ReAction Master Blaster with his G1 self. Colors are pretty spot on. The thing that's off is the reissue Blaster. Almost all of them that I've seen, Takara and Hasbro, it's not the silver that the original one was. It's this like kind of, it looks yellowed. It looks like it's been in the sun for years, even though it's a brand new reissue. So I don't know why they couldn't get the metal coloration of that correct. It's supposed to be more like that. So that's Blaster with his former self. And let's take a look and see how he works with the Optimis Prime convoy truck. First thing I always like to check is to see if he'll actually sit in this, because some of these guys won't. Gotta move the hands out of it. This looks, yeah, easily fits. Easily with tons of headroom. Maybe you could say too much headroom. He's just peeking up and peeking through the window there. So easily sits in there with plenty of room side to side. It's not like you're scraping him to fit him in there. He's just way too low in there, so an easy fix for that. You could give this a try, is just take some sticky tack, stick it on his hind quarters, and see if that will prop him up a little bit. Yeah, that helps quite a bit. And you can do even more. Like you can, if you put even more in there, you can get him up even higher. But just that little bit of guesstimation there makes a huge difference. Makes him look a little more proper driving in there. And the foot pegs should be the same as all the other Action Masters, so he should be able to stand, plug him into one of the foot pegs on the back of the truck here. One of the problems that you do run into with these particular foot pegs is some of these feet are too wide. That one shouldn't be a problem though. You see, you can't just pop them down like that because the holes aren't lining up here. They're off. So he's gonna have to either be far off on one side or on the other, which means it makes it a little harder to get two guys on the back of this truck. Yeah, these particular holes aren't fitting quite as nicely as on the other guys. It's almost like the holes are a little smaller. That's weird. Just try one of the outside ones maybe. Yeah, he's on there. I mean, that looks awkward having him be so far on the edge like that. You can, I guess, steady him a little bit as if... That's not bad, actually. He's holding on to one of the smokestacks. And there should be enough clearance there to put in the... Whoops! Okay, let's see if we have a little more luck on the back here. And same idea as Jazz. Instead of putting him on the side, I wonder if there actually is enough clearance. There wasn't with Jazz. These guys are all different shapes and their arms come out a different amount. So some guys can stand on the side of it like this, like Action Masters can. Some guys can't. It's kind of funny. But he's not liking these pegs at all. And if I really did a lot of twisting and pushing and trying to enlarge that foot peg, I could probably get it to work. So I don't know if it's just mine or if they're all like that, but he's not liking those pegs at all. That's the first time. That's the first time I've run into one of these ReAction Transformers figures that is just not working with the foot pegs. This Jazz, yeah, he easily plugs on there. No problem whatsoever. So there's a heads up about Blaster. The spot I wanted to put him anyway just kind of worked out that way. Is up on the top. Let's see if he fits up in the mounted guns. Plenty of room there. No awkwardness. Feet aren't hitting the cannon too much there. Yeah, he fits perfectly up there. He can lower his arm a little bit. Raise the other arm so that he's, I guess, manning one of the cannons while still holding his weapon. And that looks really cool. The truck is really starting to fill up, and at a fraction of the price that it would have cost to get an original Action Masters Blaster and Action Masters Jazz, and they didn't even make an Action Masters Skyfire. So that's the real sweet thing about these ReAction Transformers that it's a little bit of unfinished business getting to see 3 3/4 or 4-inch Transformer, non-transformable Transformer figures, Star Wars style or G.I. Joe sized Transformers finally being made that never got made back in 1990. And for the life of me, I don't understand why they didn't just do cartoon characters in 1990 instead of some were the regular established characters and some were totally new characters that hadn't even had a comic appearance. Not sure why they went that route to do a Transformer that had never appeared before and looked like he transformed into something, but we had no idea what. But anyway, I'm glad that Super 7 is choosing to do just the established characters instead of all new original characters. Or can you imagine if they did some of those original Action Masters figures like Rollout, and I don't even know what most of their names are. But if you've gone as far as you can go with collecting G1 Transformers and you want to get the epilogue to G1, the 1990 final releases of G1, then these will go quite nicely with them. He's not actually holding it. I'm using some sticky tack there. But that's ReAction Blaster. You can pick them up at Big Bad Toy Store if you want. Still in stock there, along with a whole bunch of other ones like this awesome Jazz. I believe Skyfire is gone. Hopefully he'll come back in stock there. They still got Prime as well. But let me know what you think of these, what you think of Action Masters in general. Have you warmed up to them over the years? I know I certainly have, and I never imagined that I would. But feel free to leave a comment. And to join the tribe, hit subscribe. Till next time, rock on.